This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're at Wembley OVO Arena here. I'm joined by promoter Ben Shalom. Sensational win from Richard Riakphore.
Yeah, it's just what he needed. I actually was slightly apprehensive about this fight. Obviously, I've watched Fabio Turchi have great wins against Dylan Brajon and Tony Conquest, and obviously went split decision with Tommy McCarthy, so I did not expect that. But Richard's power is incredible, and Angel's been saying that it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and that was his left hand. So imagine when he connects with his right, and just unbelievable. I hope now people stop making excuses for every win that he has. Every time, whether it's Tommy McCarthy or Jack Massey or Dion Juma or Sam Hyde, there's always something. I hope that can stop now and people can see this guy's a serious deal. He's a real boxer, and he has unbelievable power.
Ben, I've said that when you look through Riakphore's record, his domestic record is as good as anyone who's kind of fought at that level. Like, he's a little bit underrated as well, because obviously people like Akoli will talk about Akoli, but they've gone on to like world honours. But from a domestic point of view, he's fought as good as anyone in that division and beat them as well.
In 15 fights, and had inactivity all his career, and started late and was 18 months inactive before he started with us in October. 4 fights back in the ring, and this is what he's producing. And that's Fabio Turchi is a very, very good level. And as you said, I hope people start now putting him in that Akoli bracket. He deserves it. He's done it the hard way. No one goes through a division like that. Every single British guy in such a tough division as well. Just very, very happy for him. And as I say, I hope this is a start of people classing him as a serious cruiserweight and someone they'll get behind, because he deserves it. And I think world titles are on the horizon.
A lot of fans here today calling for a fight between Akoli and Riakphore, and a lot of people asking me tonight about that. And my real response to that was, right now, it doesn't seem to make any sense for Akoli. It does make sense for Riakphore, but Akoli's obviously looking to unify, move out the division and go to heavyweight. So I'd say unrealistic, wouldn't you?
Do you think it makes sense for Riakphore now?
For Riakphore, maybe one fight and then Akoli, possibly. But what I'm saying is, why does it make sense for Lawrence Akoli?
Because if Richard wins the world title, it's a British unification. That will be next, hopefully, for
That's
Richard.
different. I'm talking about currently.
Currently, I don't think it makes sense for Richard. I don't think it makes sense for Lawrence either. But I think before Lawrence moves to heavyweight, that's an unbelievable fight. And I think it will be a fight he wants. I'm sure of it, and I'm sure Richard wants it. I actually think before Lawrence moves to heavyweight, he'll want that high-profile British grudge match, and I think that's one.
I'd love to see it, to be honest with you, whether it makes sense for whoever. Personally, as a fan, would I like to see Riakphore and Akoli? Absolutely. Some of the other highlights on the card today. First of all, let's talk about Lauren Price first of all as well.
Yeah, Lauren Price. I mean, Ron McCracken said when we signed her, Ben, this is the best female I've ever had. And you could see, it's a joy to watch. I went to Lomachenko in December and just watching his footwork and watching how he moved around the ring. Lauren's got that. She's so technically sharp. Her footwork's incredible. Obviously, it was a pro debut, chief support. It's a big stage. She'll take a bit of getting used to the pro scene, but it's hard with Lauren because that was a tough opponent. And the next step up is almost like, you're looking at Brackhouse, or you're looking at what weight can she go. Obviously, she won a gold at middleweight and she started here at welterweight. I think, it's going to be a difficult one to stop her going too quickly, and she's got plenty of weight divisions to go through, but fantastic. And the way she dealt with it on a big stage like this, I thought was really good.
Chris Congo?
Yeah, I hoped he was going to get him out of there. I thought he was going to be the first one too. Formella is a tough guy. Obviously, we've seen that against Porter and then against Ben, but I thought he looked good, and I believe Congo is world level. I genuinely believe that. He was in control the whole time, but I think he could have used his jab better. I think that was a way to really break Formella down, and he could have got him out of there, but still very good performance against a tough guy.
On the whole, though, you pleased with the card and kind of the level of fights you had on Skyrim Boxer tonight?
Yeah, it was a good. Shelley Brown was 50-50 as we expected. Shelley just too strong for him in the end, and Vidal Riley got his knockout as well. And
great knockout.
Yeah, and that was special for him. I think it's similar way to Richard. People don't sort of take Vidal seriously just because of his YouTube background and his followers and this and that. But I think anyone in the sport knows he's a very, very strong, very, very good boxer, very good amateur record. So unbelievable knockout, unbelievable night, to be honest. Everything went well for us. Lauren Price, Richard Riakphore, incredible. Congo got his win. Chelly looked brutal and powerful as usual, and then Vidal got the win as well in the knockout. So yeah, very, very good night.
Right, Ben, there's some questions I want to ask you, but I don't know whether I'm allowed to ask you them or not. I don't want to mention certain things if it's going to upset you. No, come on, let's talk about this. The viral video that went out recently over the last 24 hours.
My highest performing video I've ever had.
And about 500,000 views on Twitter. Right, okay, so first of all, look, this video somehow obviously was leaked out to the social media world, etc. Let's talk about what you were talking about in there. You didn't want to be asked about certain topics, so I'll leave it to you to explain.
Look, first of all, I'd just come off, it's Richard Riakphore's press conference. I didn't get into the sport to talk about other promoters and other fighters that are nothing to do with me. And that's not what we're in it for. We judge ourselves on, can we get the right opportunities for our fighters? How famous are our fighters? How big can we grow them? How much can we develop their career? And it's not why I got into the sport. I don't see anything wrong with what I said. I don't want to speak. When I don't have anything to say about the matter, I don't know what's going on, I don't know the deal, I don't know what this is, then what's the point in talking about it? And that's just, for me, that's just principle. It's not why I got into the sport, not for the soap opera. I enjoy watching it, but that's not me. And I had nothing else to say other than that. What I will say is, obviously, whoever put it out, I think that's a crazy. I've never seen that before, and I do think that is a pretty below the belt thing. But I think it's shown them up for what they are. I don't think I said anything wrong. I think that's what people see. But yeah, all I can say is, I love this sport. I'm not in it for the drama. I'm not in it for this and that. I'm in it for my fighters, and I'm in it for putting on the best shows we can, and that's what I want to talk about.
Okay, so as a counter to this, I will say that there are many people in boxing that over the 12 years I've been covering the sport have chosen not to talk about certain topics. That's fighters, promoters, managers, etc., etc. It's stuff that isn't spoken about, but that is the case in boxing, so I will put that out there. So, but with yourself, I suppose the question would be to you is, shouldn't interviewers like myself or whoever have the right to ask you about anything, regardless of what you want to speak about? Because you've never said that to me about don't talk about this. Never. You've done loads of interviews on IFL. You've never done that. But if you did, then I would respect that decision and say, all right, fair enough. You've asked for that. That's not just for you, by the way. That's for loads of people in boxing. It's not highlighted. This has been highlighted, but I'll say that. Can you understand why people would have a problem with you saying to an interview that you don't want to be addressed by certain topics?
100%, but it's a soap opera as well. I knew what was coming, and I don't want to get into it. And they're looking for bait, and they want me to get into the back and forth. We see it with Lennon Edelby and Eddie and Frank, and I enjoy it, but it's not what I'm focused on. It's not what I enjoy. And to be honest, I think also people will get frustrated if I'm talking about things that are nothing to do with me, genuinely nothing to do with me. If it was a different situation and it's commenting on a fight and what I think, fine, but things were going on around the deal that I knew nothing about, and I had no comment. And to be honest, I think people respect that. I think people respect the fact that I don't want to get involved in things that I'm not involved in.
Final one on this, in future for interviews, and I'll just put for the record that you've not asked me to ask about anything, but in future, will you adapt the same policy in regarding interviews? If you don't want to talk about something, no, but will you do that, or is it?
Look, it was, everyone does it. If there's certain things in any sport or anything, if it was a subject that I should be talking on, then I'd understand. Those are subjects that are nothing to do with me, and I had no idea how I was going to answer, what I knew, and I knew what was coming. And again, it's not something I want to get involved in. I get it does views, I get it's entertaining, I get everyone loves it, I 100% get that. But for me, at the moment, we're building our business, we're putting on shows. I come off Riakphore press conference, that was my focus, put on a good show, and that is what it is. And yeah, if it's subjects that are nothing to do with me, maybe I can give no comment, this and that. But it's as I say, it's subjects. if it was something to do with me and I'd said, don't ask me about that, don't ask me about that, then I'd understand. But I think people respect me for it. I think people are sick of the back and forth and the this and that. I think people want fighters to be at the forefront of things, and I respect everyone's different style. But our style is not that, and it's not my style.
I will say one thing though, I think interviewers do take, and when I say interviewers, I include myself in this, we take opportunities to interview people and we talk about stuff that's unrelated to actually what the fight week is about. So if you've got, like you're talking about Riakphore and Turchi, etc., there are leading questions or questions that will come to you that really are nothing to do with that. And I think some people, we don't come there because we're coming there because we're covering a fight week, but certain people do come there with the preempt of asking you questions ahead of really what's going on, and that does happen in boxing.
Well, exactly, I knew what was coming. That's as simple as that. 25 cameras in your face. AJ, you understand what's happened, or you're starting to hear things, and I wanted to speak about my fight. And again, you're responsible for it, or you want promoters to go back and forth with each other. I'm not interested in it. I'm
not responsible for the situation this week, but I'm saying in general.
What I would say is your point, fine, and I think a lot of people understand and respect what I was saying. The bigger point is someone filming that and putting it out, I think, is out of order, and that could have been anything, and it's a warning sign, because luckily for me, I stand behind what I said, but it could have been worse, and I think that's a breach of trust. That's a serious thing. I've never experienced that. You've told me you've never experienced that before, and it is what it is, and I can laugh about it.
Okay, well, Ben, before I let you go, let me just ask you about AJ in the zone, because
actually, ask me about Joseph Parker, because obviously.
I will listen. That was my actual question. Yeah, listen, Joseph Parker, obviously, someone that British fans are very aware to the fights he's had, not just in this country, with the Brits he's had fights against, etc. But exciting signing for yourself.
100%, really good signing. Something we've been chasing for a long time. Obviously. He's coming off a couple of good wins. We think he's got his prime years ahead of him. He's improved a lot under Andy Lee, but he wants the big fights, and that's why, we wanted him so much. He wants the Joe Joyces, he wants the Dillian Whites, he wants the big box office nights, he wants the world titles. He's number 2 in the WBO, I think number 3 in the WBC as well, really well ranked, and is settled now in the UK, training out of here. Perfect signing for us. Wants to fight all the heavyweights and gets us going really on the heavyweight scene.
Can you make comment on what the situation is regarding Parker's proposed fight with Joe Joyce?
Not really. I think I know obviously Frank was trying to make that fight. I know Joe Joyce wanted that fight, and to be honest, Joseph Parker still wants that fight, but I think he wanted a promotional deal. He wanted to be in big fights consistently. He wants the Joe Joyce fight, and will probably make an offer to Joe Joyce for that fight. He wants the Dillian White fight. He wants everything, and in the end, I hope that fight does still happen. But Joseph just wanted a proper promotional deal, and he wanted to be on Sky. So unbelievable, and I think as I say, he's got the best years ahead of him now. So I'm really excited to get going with him. Thank you to David Higgins as well, because he works very, very hard on the deal. Obviously, you know him well.
I know David Higgins very well.
Yeah. And it was good fun all the way, and managed to get it done. And delighted to sort of, as I say, first we've got Huey and Fraser Clark, and we're starting to want to sign more heavyweights, and Joseph's the first of hopefully many.
Ben, Shalom, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, appreciate it. We look forward to Coventry, June 25th. Whole host of talent, including obviously Sam Eggins to fight as well, so we'll look forward to that. Have you got anything else you'd love to say or like to say?
No, thank you. Cheers, Koos.
Is there anything you want me to cut out of this interview?
You can't even start that.
Thank you very much. Ben Shalom, and great night here at Wembley, and we'll catch up with you in Coventry.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Welcome, Team Everlast, to the Team Everlast Fitness app. Download the Everlast Fitness app and find your greatness within.